In the last video, we looked at how to insert a table into our Word document. In this video, we're going to look at how to modify that table in terms of adding and deleting rows and columns. So going over the basics very quickly, we looked at inserting a table by clicking the Table menu and dropping down to Insert Table. This allows us to use a dialog box to define the number of columns and rows that we want that table to have. Once we've defined that, we click OK, and Word inserts the table for us. We then looked at selecting columns, and remember you need that black arrow just above the column. We looked at selecting rows, and remember you need the white arrow. We looked at selecting individual cells, and we're looking at the black arrow inside the cell. And we selected the whole table. And of course you can do all those things using the table menu as well. I've got to put some numbers into this table for us. I'm just using the tab key to move from cell to cell. When I get to the last cell, if I want to carry on inserting data into the table, then if I just press the tab key one more time, it will insert a brand new row for us below the current row. It only does this when you are in that last cell. So then you can carry on your typing, get to the end again to insert a new row, just simply press the tab key. This means you can of course go straight in and click or use the cursor keys to get to the end there and press the tab key. So that's fine, but it doesn't give you a lot of control. So we're going to look at some more methods to do this. We'll start with deleting because we've got some blank rows there that we can delete. As always, more than one way to do things. The first way I'll show you is that if we select the whole row, and you can see I've got that white arrow at the left hand side of the row, click once with the left mouse button. I can then use the context sensitive menu by clicking the right mouse button on the shaded area to bring up the context sensitive menu, and I can delete the row from there. So I was selecting the cell, and it doesn't have to be the last cell. Let's try this row. Click once to select the row, then right click on the shaded area and delete rows. And of course you can do that with columns. Let's delete the middle column. Again, I've got my cursor just above the column to get that black arrow. Click once and then right click the shaded area and delete columns. Now you can also do that using the table menu. There's an added bonus of using the table menu, and that is that you don't have to select the whole column or the whole row. As long as you've got the cursor, the flashing line, either in the column or the row that you want to delete, that is sufficient. So for this then we can use table, delete, and there we can choose whether to delete the column or the row. If I delete the column with the number 4 and 14 in it, then that column disappears. Let's try it with the row. I've got the row with the row with 11 in it. Table, delete, row, and that disappears. I'll just use the undo feature to get back some data. So that is deleting rows and columns. Simply select it, use the right mouse button, or use the table menu to delete. If you use the table menu, also notice that you can delete the whole table from here as well. And one other thing that you can do on delete is if you've got a specific cell deleted that you want to delete, you can also do that. This is sort of outside the syllabus for this really, but I'll just show you a table, delete, cell, and you can delete that cell from the middle of the table. But that has complications. It gives us a dialog box that says, well, what do you want to do with the cells around the outside of that cell that you're deleting, the number 13? I'm going to shift cells left and show you what happens when we do this. Click OK, and you can see it's shifted 14 and 15 across to where 13 was and leaves a blank space In fact, it's not even a space in the table, it's just a blank space There. That's not a cell in the table anymore. So deleting cells is a little bit more tricky. You've got to be careful what you are doing. So that's deleting. And of course we can also insert. So we'll look at that next. You can again use the right mouse click. So if I select the 3 column and then do right click on the shaded area, insert columns, it inserts a blank column to the left of the one that we had selected. And the same with rows. If I select row 11 and then right click on the shaded area, insert rows, it inserts a row above the one that was selected. That's kind of limiting, always going to the left or above. So if we use the menu for this, we've got a little bit more control. Just undo those ones. If we use the menu instead, so I've got column 3 selected and do table insert, then we can insert columns to the left or to the right of the one that's selected. So let's do columns to the right. Remember, we've got 3, 8, 13 selected here. Insert columns to the right, and it's inserted a blank column to the right of the one that was selected. Same with rows. If you select a row, let's choose the 6th row, and then do table insert. We've now got a choice of inserting the row above or below the one that is selected. Let's choose below. And it inserts a blank row beneath the row that was currently selected. So you can see inserting rows and columns to your table is fairly straightforward. You can choose which column or row that you want and use the right mouse button to insert and delete. Or you can use the table to insert and delete. And really the only difference between the two is that if you use the right mouse button, you have to select the column first. If you don't select the column first, then you can use the table menu and choose